Have you ever wondered what each member of the royal family does when the cameras aren't rolling? The answers range from surprisingly ordinary to genuinely weird. Let's go through every member of the royal family and find out what their private habits reveal about them. King Charles has some deeply particular habits that he's maintained for decades. He writes all his letters and memos by hand, using a fountain pen, refusing to type emails himself. His staff know that everything must be written on specific cream-colored paper, and he insists on having his shoelaces ironed flat. His morning routine is absolutely rigid. He does the Royal Canadian Air Force exercises every single day at the same time, a habit from his youth. Former staff members have noted that his breakfast must be prepared exactly the same way. His boiled egg cooked for precisely 4 minutes, with toast cut into soldiers. Charles talks to his plants. Not occasionally, regularly. He's gone on record saying he believes it helps them grow, and gardeners at his estates have confirmed he'll spend time in the greenhouse having full conversations with tomatoes and herbs. When traveling, he brings his own toilet seat and a supply of his favorite Lafroig whiskey. He's obsessive about temperature control. Wherever he stays, the room must be 60 degrees exactly. Staff have reported setting multiple thermometers to ensure it's perfect before he arrives. Queen Elizabeth II. The late Queen had routines that were practically military in their precision. Every morning for decades, she woke at 7:30 a.m. to a bagpiper playing beneath her window for exactly 15 minutes, a tradition that followed her to every residence. Her handbag was her secret communication device. When she placed it on the table during dinner, staff knew she wanted the event to end in 5 minutes. Moving it from one arm to another meant she wanted to be rescued from a conversation. She never went anywhere without it, even inside her own palaces. Elizabeth kept detailed journals every single night before bed, writing for at least 30 minutes about the day's events. She did this for over 70 years without missing a night. Former ladies-in-waiting said she'd sometimes write for an hour if something particularly significant had happened. She had a particular attachment to Tupperware. Staff members were genuinely surprised to find she'd reuse plastic containers herself and got annoyed when they disappeared. At Balmoral, she'd wash dishes after picnics, wearing yellow marigold gloves that she insisted on using until they had holes. Prince Philip was almost compulsively early to everything, not just on time, but 15 minutes early. He'd famously get irritated with anyone who made him wait, pacing and checking his watch repeatedly. Staff learned to tell him events started earlier than they actually did. He painted in his private time, creating surprisingly good landscapes and seascapes. His studio at Sandringham was his sanctuary, and he'd disappear there for hours without telling anyone where he'd gone. Some of his paintings hung in family rooms, though he never signed them. Philip had a habit of writing letters by hand to people who'd impressed him or done good work completely out of the blue. Recipients would suddenly receive personal notes from the Duke complimenting something they'd done months earlier that he'd clearly been thinking about. He drove Land Rovers obsessively fast around royal estates, genuinely concerning his protection officers. Even in his 90s, he'd take corners at speeds that had passengers gripping their seats. Queen Camilla is a chain smoker, though she's tried repeatedly to quit. Staff at Clarence House say she steps outside frequently throughout the day, and there's always a designated smoking area wherever she travels. She's particular about her brand and refuses to switch. She reads detective novels voraciously, Agatha Christie especially. Her bedside table is always stacked with mysteries, and she'll stay up past midnight finishing them. Friends say she can discuss plot twists and detective methods with genuine expertise. Unlike most royals, Camilla answers her own phone when friends call her private line. She'll chat for ages, sometimes while having her hair done or during other appointments, to the mild frustration of her staff trying to keep her on schedule. She keeps chickens at her private home and genuinely enjoys collecting eggs each morning when she's there. Former staff members say she talked to them by name and got genuinely upset when a fox got into the coop once. Prince William sets his alarm for 6 a.m. every morning, even on weekends, and goes for a run. Former protection officers say he'd run the same routes repeatedly, preferring familiarity to variety. He's particular about his running shoes, always the same brand, replaced at exact mileage intervals. He watches football religiously, not just big matches. He'll watch Aston Villa games on his own, getting genuinely emotional about results. Kate's learned to leave him alone for about an hour after a loss because he'll be in a genuinely bad mood. William talks to his children about his mother frequently, keeping photos of Diana in their rooms and telling them stories about her. Staff at Kensington Palace say he's very deliberate about making sure George, Charlotte, and Louis know their grandmother. He's weirdly competitive about board games. Family friends say he genuinely hates losing at anything, even to his own children, and will want immediate rematches if he doesn't win. Kate has mentioned he takes Scrabble particularly seriously. Princess Catherine photographs her children obsessively. She's rarely without a camera, and she's become genuinely skilled. All those official photos of the children are actually her work. She's taken courses in photography and spends evenings editing images on her computer. She's up before the children every morning doing yoga. Friends say she's done sunrise yoga for years, finding it's the only quiet time she gets. She's particular about having 30 minutes completely alone before the chaos of 3 children begins. Catherine has a surprisingly strong sweet tooth. Despite her slim figure, staff say she loves sticky toffee pudding and will happily have dessert at dinner. She bakes with the children frequently, though she's admitted the kitchen ends up completely destroyed. She keeps detailed scrapbooks for each child with handwritten notes about milestones, funny things they've said, and mementos from special days. Friends who've seen them say they're incredibly personal and detailed, nothing like the official records kept by staff. Prince Harry. Harry called his grandmother every week without fail when he lived in the UK, usually on Sunday evenings. Staff say Elizabeth would brighten noticeably before these calls, and they'd often last over an hour, much longer than her calls with other grandchildren. He's compulsively early to appointments with veterans or military events, but notoriously late to everything else. Friends joke that he runs on 2 different time systems depending on who he's meeting. Harry talks to himself when he's stressed, not just muttering, but having full conversations. Protection officers noticed this during his military service and during difficult periods in his royal life. He's apparently unaware he's doing it. He rewatches Friends episodes constantly. Meghan's mentioned he knows every episode and will quote lines inappropriately often. It's his comfort show when he's having a bad day. Meghan Markle. Meghan wakes at 4:30 a.m. even when she doesn't need to. She's said in interviews she loves early mornings and uses the time for meditation and planning her day. Staff in the UK found this habit genuinely bizarre and struggled to accommodate it. She writes notes to herself constantly on her phone. Friends say she's always typing observations, ideas, or reminders into her Notes app. She's apparently accumulated thousands of these notes over the years. Meghan lights candles compulsively. There are lit candles in almost every room she's in throughout the day. She's particular about scents and has favorites she orders in bulk. Former staff at Frogmore Cottage worried constantly about fire hazards. She makes her own almond milk every few days rather than buying it. She's talked about the process in interviews, saying she prefers the taste and texture of freshly made versions. Friends who visited say her kitchen always has almonds soaking. Princess Anne is up at 5 a.m. every single day and finds people who sleep later genuinely baffling. She's been quoted saying she doesn't understand how anyone can waste morning hours in bed. Her staff know to be ready for action by 6 a.m. at the latest. She reads every document herself, refusing to have staff summarize things. Briefing papers for her engagements come back covered in her handwritten notes and questions. She's famously detail-oriented and will catch errors others miss. Anne wears the same style of clothes deliberately. She's had some outfits for 40 years and sees no reason to replace them if they still work. Her wardrobe is notably small for a royal, and she rewears items more than anyone else in the family. She swears quite freely in private. Former staff members have mentioned being genuinely shocked the first time they heard her, but apparently she has a sailor's vocabulary when she's frustrated. Unlike Charles, who rarely uses strong language, Anne's perfectly comfortable with it. Prince Edward is peculiarly obsessed with correct grammar and spelling. Staff say he'll correct emails they send him and return documents with grammar fixes even when the content is fine. It's apparently his pet peeve. He watches television documentaries every evening, usually about history or nature. Sophie's mentioned he'll watch 3 or 4 in a row and genuinely gets absorbed in them. He's walking encyclopedia of random documentary facts. Edward keeps meticulous personal files on everything: warranties, receipts, manuals. Former staff at Bagshot Park say he has an entire filing system for household items and knows exactly where everything is. He gets genuinely stressed when things aren't properly filed. He writes thank you notes by hand within 24 hours of any gift or dinner. Friends say he's almost compulsive about it, and the notes are always thoughtful and specific, never generic. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Sophie goes to bed at 9 p.m. most nights and thinks staying up late is genuinely pointless. Friends joke that she's like a grandmother about bedtime, but she insists she functions better with early nights. She does her own food shopping when she's at home, genuinely enjoying walking around the supermarket. Unlike most royals who'd find this stressful, she finds it relaxing and normal. Staff say she'll spend ages comparing prices and choosing vegetables. Sophie has coffee constantly throughout the day, not tea like most of the royals. She's particular about it being strong and black, no milk. Staff know to always have fresh coffee ready because she'll drink 5 or 6 cups by afternoon. She texts rather than calls, even with family. Edward's mentioned she'll text him from another room rather than walking over, and she prefers texting with her children throughout their school day. Princess Beatrice is addicted to podcasts. Friends say she always has earbuds in and will listen to podcasts while getting ready, commuting, even while doing other activities. She has strong opinions about which ones are worth listening to. She rearranges furniture constantly. Staff at her home say nothing stays in the same place for long. She'll suddenly decide a room needs to be completely different and will move things around herself, often late at night. Beatrice keeps every card and letter she's ever received, stored in labeled boxes. Friends who've helped her move say she has dozens of boxes, carefully organized by year and person. She's mentioned she rereads them when she's feeling nostalgic. She takes baths that last over an hour, bringing books, her phone, and snacks. Her husband has joked that she basically lives in the bathtub in the evenings. It's her genuine wind-down ritual. Princess Eugenie is obsessively punctual, unlike many royals. She'll arrive exactly on time, not early, not late. Friends say you can set your watch by her arrivals. It apparently drives Jack crazy when he makes them late. She saves every ticket stub, museum entry, and restaurant bill from experiences she wants to remember. She's mentioned in interviews that she has scrapbooks full of these ephemera dating back to her teenage years. Eugenie drinks tea with honey in it, which most British people find weird. She's particular about the type of honey and the temperature of the tea, and she'll make it herself rather than let someone else get it wrong. She FaceTimes her mother several times a day. Sarah Ferguson has mentioned they're constantly in contact through video calls, sometimes just leaving the call running while they do other things. Zara Tindall swears more than any royal except possibly Anne. Friends say she has absolutely no filter and a vocabulary that would make sailors blush. She genuinely doesn't care about seeming proper. She's up at 5:30 a.m. every morning to check on and feed horses before her children wake up. Mike's mentioned she's essentially a horse person who happens to be royal, not the other way around. The horses always come first in her schedule. Zara hates dressing up. When she's not at official events, she lives in riding clothes or athletic wear. Friends say getting her into a dress for anything is a negotiation. She's genuinely happiest in muddy boots. She leaves her phone on silent constantly and misses calls from everyone, including family members trying to coordinate. Mike jokes that calling Zara is pointless. You text and hope she eventually sees it. Prince George is apparently obsessed with helicopters. Staff say he can identify different models by sound and gets genuinely excited when he hears them. William's mentioned he talks about flying helicopters constantly. He's already developing a serious streak like his father. Teachers at his school have noted he gets frustrated when things aren't done correctly and will redo work himself if he's not satisfied. He's only young, but he's already a bit of a perfectionist. George asks constant questions about everything, to the point where Kate's admitted it's exhausting. He wants to know why things work, how they're made, and what would happen if you changed them. His curiosity is apparently relentless. Princess Charlotte is bossy with her brothers in a way that amuses the entire family. William said she's clearly in charge despite being younger than George. She'll tell both boys what to do and expect them to listen. She's surprisingly neat for a child her age. Staff have mentioned she puts her toys away without being asked and gets annoyed when Louis makes messes. Kate said she's naturally organized, unlike her brothers. Charlotte loves dancing and apparently practices constantly around the house. She's taking ballet lessons and is genuinely committed to it, not just doing it casually like many children her age. Prince Louis is the family comedian. Every public appearance shows him pulling faces, waving enthusiastically, and generally stealing attention from his siblings. Staff say he's exactly like this at home, always performing, always looking for laughs. He's apparently obsessed with tractors and diggers. When the family is at Anmer Hall, he'll watch construction vehicles for ages and can name different types. It's his current fixation. Louis struggles to sit still during formal events. Kate's mentioned that keeping him occupied during things like the coronation is genuinely challenging. He's simply got too much energy for sitting quietly. What becomes clear looking at the royal family's private habits is just how human they all are. Charles talks to his plants and needs his shoelaces ironed. Elizabeth saved Tupperware containers. Camilla smokes behind the palace and reads detective novels in bed. William gets genuinely moody about football results, and Sophie does her own grocery shopping while texting from other rooms. For all their palaces and privilege, when it comes to private habits, the royals aren't so different from anyone else. They're particular about coffee, obsessed with their hobbies, bad at returning calls, and sometimes deeply weird about ordinary things. Which of these surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe to see more like this.